Surprise!
That was amazingly dramatic, Anne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone.
Oh, I need to go and put my little necklace on my daughter gave me for my birthday.
Well, go ahead. I don't care.
All right, you do an introduction while I go. While we're waiting for everyone to come on.
Oh, yes, while we're waiting for everyone to come on. Hello, everyone. Say hi. Let us know where you are watching from. And welcome to Ghost Chat, which is our once a month little chat that we have where we pick a topic and discuss it as a community. So you can throw in what you think about this particular topic. And we've been covering a little bit on biases and things that can have an effect on paranormal investigations when we go into certain places and we have certain theories on what may or may not happen. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the Barnum Effect. Now, the Barnum Effect is something that has been known for quite some time, and it is called the Barnum Effect because it is named after a particular showman who used to go around with his shows all over America, P.T. Barnum, and thrill and chill everyone. And of course, he used to draw really absolutely huge crowds with his shows, and he became very, very good at, pulling the wool over people's eyes.
Just pass me that stuff from over there. Thank you. Oh,
So if you're here for the very first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope that it is not your first and last, that you will come back and enjoy these Thursday night little jaunts into the paranormal with us. And if this is your 13,000th time of being here, we thank you so very, very much.
from the bottom of our black little hearts, as we like to say, just going to get all of the notes over here organised. And yes, as that's our Catherine. I'm just going to pop your comments up there. So we are just off the plane yesterday. It was my husband's little trip away to Tasmania for Whiskey Week, and it's the first time we've ever gone. He is very passionate about whiskey, loves it. So we were there for 4 nights, and Renata had to come with me because I don't really drink whiskey, and I sent him off on some all-day trips to go and enjoy himself. So I needed somebody to entertain me. So kept saying, sister wives, here we go. Now I can actually pop those up here, which might give us a little bit of a better view of them. So does anyone know what the Barnum Effect is? Anyone sort of experienced it before, or maybe done it themselves? I think I have. I think we all have at some stage or other. I'm going to just pop that out. Oh, no, that didn't work. Now pop that down there. So just don't freak out. That's okay. You've got that stuff up there. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right.
Now, of course, we have one person online who knows exactly what the Barnum Effect is because she has written a ton of stuff about it.
And yes, I want to recommend Living Life in the Full Spectrum. I actually did have your link there ready to go. I will be popping that into the comments so that you can go and read Sarah's vlog on it. I actually did print up some notes from it too, because there was a section in there I really liked. But this is all stuff we need to be aware of as paranormal investigators and paranormal enthusiasts, or just the curious, to make sure we don't get tangled up in our own brains. So Renata, would you like to kick off, or do you want me to kick off?
Oh, you can kick off. Firstly, thank you, Joanne,
Oh,
so
Joanne,
much
thank
yet
you.
again for your kind donation. And
Thank you
hello,
very much.
Julie from Kansas in the
Ooh.
USA. Is this your first time watching, Julie, or have you experienced The Anne and Renata.
The Anne and Renata effect.
Before, let us know.
All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you've got a fortune cookie. You've cracked it open and you read, something good is just around the corner. Now, I know for us, we'd go, oh, we know what that is. We know what it is. It's next week, isn't it? It's next week. And we'd be thinking, that means something for me. It was a very personal message that the spirit world has just sent for me and Renata, because we do everything together. In truth, that is a very general thing. It's a positive, generic message. And they're designed to sort of have a very broad reach so that you could feel that that message belonged to you, specifically for you. And that is what's known as the Barnum Effect, where there is something generalized and you take it on as a personal message for you. Now, it happens with horoscopes as well, where they've got very generic things they'll write down. You will meet a stranger this week, and you might go to a shop and you'll find a new person serving at the checkout and go, oh, there they are, there's the stranger. They knew, they knew. So it's something that sort of happens in our lives where we're trying to find meaning in what is happening around us. So it happens a lot in ghost hunting and spirit readings, tarot readings, psychic readings, and things like that. All right, let's you give them the actual definition up there.
All right. So the Barnum Effect, also called the Fora Effect, is a psychological phenomenon where people identify with vague general statements, believing that they are personal and accurate for them alone. Now, these statements are often positive and they feel special, or they make you feel special, but in reality, they could apply to almost everyone. The name comes from P.T. Barnum, who was a famous 19th century showman, known for saying there's a sucker born every minute, hinting that people can be easily fooled. Yes, that is true. Psychics, astrologers, fortune tellers, as Anne mentioned, and others often use such Barnum statements to make it seem like they have unique insight into a person. Now, the most interesting thing about this is that there was a psychologist called Bertram Forer who demonstrated the Barnum effect very, very easily by giving his whole class a test, an experiment that he did, an individual evaluation, and he handed it to each and every student in his class, not telling them that they actually were all getting the exact same text. The feedback was full of broad claims like you have a great need for others to like and admire you, and at times you have serious doubts about whether you made the right decision. Statements that almost anyone can relate to. And remarkably, the students rated the accuracy of these identical profiles as 4.3 out of 5 on average, which is very high. They were very shocked to then find out that Fora actually revealed to them that each of the students got the same evaluation assembled from a horoscope. So this experiment showed how eagerly people accept general statements as personally meaningful, especially when they soothe you, when they tell you that you are special. And this is really a great realm that belongs to many psychics, many online psychics, and many people who have value in getting people on their side, getting people to like them. They will tell them that they're very special. You're very psychic. I can tell you're psychic. I can tell that you could be a medium. I can tell that you're
so many
gifted.
times I have been told that in readings, you could be doing this job, but little did I know. One day I was, but I was very openly saying I make shit up.
Yeah. So, yep, there you go. Now, there are several psychological principles that explain why the Barnum effect works so well. Do you want to talk about that? The first one that we
Yeah, so
already mentioned, you seek validation.
we're wanting the personal validation. We want to hear all our positive stuff. We like to be flattered. And then we'll go, oh no, but inside we go, The other thing is our brains like to pay more attention to things that confirm what we already hope or want to believe. Now, I know a lot of people have gone to a psychic and they've got a reading and they've gone, oh, they're shit. They're absolute shit, because that psychic didn't confirm what they were hoping to hear. They wanted to hear a specific message and they didn't get it. So it's called confirmation bias, where you are confirming what you want to believe. So they focus on the evidence that applies to us and you ignore all parts that don't fit. So we end up confirming the statement in our own mind. There's also subjective validation, where we naturally fill in the details for vague statements from our own life experiences. For example, if a psychic says, I sense you faced some challenges recently, you'll go, have I? Have I? But you will find them. You'll conjure up something specific that has happened and you'll make that statement feel very eerily correct. It was real. In reality, nearly everyone has faced some sort of recent challenges. So it's not a particularly unique insight as such. Trusting in authority. The Barnum Effect is stronger when we trust the source of the statement. If a horoscope is in a reputable magazine or a psychic on a ghost tour seems confident and experienced, they speak with such authority, or they've been on TV, we are more likely to accept their general statement as being true. And we think, oh, they know what they're doing, so this must be about me. And then there's the personalization. The message just seems to be for you. So Barnum statements are delivered as if they are tailored for you. A fortune teller may use your name or test printouts of your personalized result. Believing a description is custom made for us makes us feel more likely to take it to heart. We latch onto the feeling that this is about me, even if everyone else got the same words. So there is the belief that this is just another form of cognitive bias, a mental shortcut that makes it feel right, but is not really logically reliable. We want to validate our own views of ourselves. We're quick to believe positive generalizations and treat them as special. And in short, our brains are sometimes too good at making meaning, even from the most general hints that are handed out to us.
So, a
So
question to all of you at this stage: have you come across the Barnum effect with people that you know? So, let's not look at ourselves, because you can guarantee that that's happened to you at some stage, but people that you know, especially maybe in circles where you have been to a psychic, or in a group, or maybe you have seen something on TV that has been really, really believable, and you find yourself believing in it, like 1,000 people did with The Secret 40 years ago now, because it was in the 1980s, when they did that fabulous documentary, and everyone went, oh, wow, I need to make a vision board because all my dreams are going to come true. Or in a paranormal investigation, for example, have you come across people who exhibit this and will literally believe anything anyone says? Hello, Linda.
discernment is the key.
Yeah, let us know in the
Absolutely.
comments.
All right. So, how do you think this fits in a paranormal investigation? This is the interesting thing. And we have come across it many times.
And we've kind of suggested some of the ways that it can happen in the first part of this conversation, because it spreads over everything. You will find the Barnum effect happening in many different associations. May not necessarily only be with psychics and mediums or astrology or any sort of mystical stuff that is out there. You want to believe so badly that you are ready and open to believe anything and everything anyone says. It only gets really, really complicated once you listen to many people on a particular subject, and then your brain sort of goes, well, what am I supposed to believe? Which way do I go? But it can also happen when people are being scammed. You only have to watch TV to see how many people are scammed every single day via phone calls or, going on to YouTube channels or whatever, in relationships, that they want to believe something that someone is saying so that they feel validated, and that can get them into a lot of trouble. But let's go back to paranormal investigations.
And just before we move on, speaking of people that are scamming and things, my personal Anne Rekovich profile has been taken down from Facebook. Thank you, Fastbook, because I warned people about an email that my husband had received, and I put a screenshot of it up. I even blanked out his email and his name and everything like that, and just said, be careful, guys, this scam is going around at the moment. And for some unknown reason, they thought I was the cybersecurity risk, and they have taken down everything. I can access nothing, none of my businesses, nothing on Facebook at the moment. So please don't think I've unfriended you. They've just taken me down so I don't exist. And they said it would take just over 1 day to get back to me. That was on the 1st of August. And there is just nobody that's responding to me, and it's a struggle. So you can't do anything. You're just held over the barrel by whatever they want to do. Anyway, Renata, you want to head on to the next bit?
I just want to address Dave here because he says, how do you distinguish genuine intuition to the Barnum Effect? Remember, the Barnum Effect is the acceptance of information without really judging it in any way or trying to discern the facts, the truth. That's very much the Barnum Effect.
We will explain as we go through the notes how that you'll sort of get what we mean.
Yep.
As we get into it. All right, so I'm just going to scroll a little bit for you there.
So let's again go into how this shapes and forms us as paranormal investigators and the things to look out for. There is belief and expectation. So ghost hunters often already believe in spirits or want to believe. Therefore, they are more open to expecting something to happen when they are out and about. And this is where it becomes difficult, where every noise, everything that you might hear suddenly becomes paranormal, or it's a demon, or whatever you might have seen on TV or on a documentary that tells you that this is what actually happens when you are out and about. And so you're just confirming what you already are being taught to believe. And so that is what happens. So if a psychic on a team says, I feel a restless energy here, believers will eagerly accept that that is a specific ghost presence that is meant for them, even though restless energy could mean anything. Same thing when a psychic says, I believe that this is the ghost of John Smith at this particular house. How do you know? Because the psychic has said so. Okay, all right. Should we look up whether there was a John Smith there in the first place? Has he got any connection? No, there is a John Smith here because the psychic said so. All right. So truth in mediums and tools. During paranormal investigations, people often rely on
trust
experts.
in mediums and tools.
Oh, trust. Did I say tools?
Yes, no, your truth.
Oh, truth. Okay.
Freudian slip.
Which is exactly what I was just saying. People tend to trust the sources when a respected medium makes a broad statement. Listeners assume it's a real message from beyond. She's a famous medium, so this must be a message for me, or a message that we need to listen to. The same goes for ghost hunting tools. Right then, if an EMF meter or spirit box spits out a random word, many ghost hunters take it very seriously, and we have explored this 1,000 times, where we say to people, not everything that comes out of a spirit box is paranormal. Use the words to see if it makes sense. Don't just trust every single thing. And it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, because people are so excited to hear things that they will run with whatever it is that they hear. There is also an emotional investment that is obviously being made.
Just before we go on to that, it's also because the paranormal equipment is often referred to as scientific equipment, and people seem to think that because it is scientific, that it is more trustworthy as a result. They're not actually looking at what other possibilities it could be. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's okay.
Emotional investment.
Emotional investment. Paranormal experiences are emotional. Yes, they are. People might be hoping to hear from a lost loved one or dying to find proof of a ghost. So, this emotional desire makes them less critical of vague messages. And in the heat of a spooky investigation, your heart is pounding and you want a meaningful encounter. So, under these conditions, you are ready to, take on everything. And in a dark, haunted house, if someone is saying, I sense a presence who cares about you, it can have a really big and emotional experience. Now, interpreting feelings and random signals, the environment in ghost hunts is full of ambiguous stimulus. So there are weird sounds, there are cold spots, there are blurry photos that can be taken, and there are different signals that can come up on your devices. And it's easy to misinterpret a general feeling as a ghost trying to communicate. And what I have found and what I keep on saying to people as well is the moment they get gadgets in their hands, they completely forget about what they're sensing and feeling in their own body. And you have to work both things simultaneously. This is where your ability to discern things for yourself becomes super important, because it's all about your own sensations as well as what you're getting from the equipment that is there.
We have someone from the Netherlands on watching us.
Oh, hello.
Hello, is it Namira? Welcome, welcome. That's so cool. I do love the Netherlands.
So
They make good cookies.
yeah, you've got to be careful not to discern every blip, as we said, from the spirit box into a word, or try and make it into something that is called
message.
Yeah, that's called pareidolia as well, seeing patterns where none exist. And yeah, look, people who again are trying to get other people to like them can make it very emotional and connective to you, because they rely on the fact that you are having a good time and that you are responding to things for you to come back.
But I think more importantly with the Barnum Effect is that people think that it's a personal message for them. It's their validation. It's their belief being confirmed. We have had investigations where a name will come up and well, actually, in the seance work where we've had the glass and it will spell out John, and there's several people at the table who can relate to John, and the glass will say, slide it to the person who you want to talk to, and the glass will go over to that person. And someone else on the table going, no, it's meant for me. This is my message. I know within my heart of hearts this message is for me, because they want to believe it so much that they're going to interpret anything and everything that comes through. If somebody knocks at the front door that was a human, they'd go, that's John knocking, that proves it's for me. They just become so involved in it that they can't separate random things that might be happening, logical things, non-spiritual things, as not a message for them. They don't want to. They want to believe it is for them. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same with people who are told that you will get a sign. You'll get a sign, or you see signs, or they see numbers, 1111,
Yeah.
33, whatever it might be. And it's a sign from the universe that it is the correct time to do something. And that is a continuous loop, because you are confirming your bias to something, but it's also alerting your mind to say, hey, that's what you've been looking for. There it is. There it is. So what are you going to do with that now?
And look, another one is when people will see butterflies everywhere, and they'll say, that is my message from my loved ones. And look, we're not going to take that away from anyone. If that is something that they believe and that gives them some sort of peace, that's fine. But you do have to also be logical about it and just know that your brain is now alerted to look for butterflies. and you will see them more than the average person because it's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So Barnum Effect feeds off the excitement and hope, causing people to jump to personal paranormal conclusions instead of skeptical ones, is basically what it's come down to. If you expect spirits, you'll interpret things in that light, and the Barnum style messages fit neatly into that narrative. Now, there was, I'm just going to find the bits of paper. Maybe I didn't print them. Oh dear. Hope I did. So is everyone sort of relating to this at the moment? It might be down here. I might have left it on here so I didn't have to print 50,000 million trillion things. Now, you may have noticed also that we now have, what do you call it? A YouTube subscription for those who would like to, hopefully we're still there. I haven't just cut us off, have I? Oh, there we are. We have a YouTube subscription, which is $5.99 a month, and I'm actually going to be putting some of the notes from our talks into the that section for the paid members. So that if you want to follow up on any of this, you can get some of those paid notes. And if we have some videos that we can't put up onto YouTube for any particular reason, they will go up into there. There'll be extra content. We'll be doing some lives and things from there as well. So if you are able to, we would appreciate it, but please never put yourself out of pocket to join up. Now, if you are already a Grand Pooh Bar Patreon, you will be automatically added to that group because you are already contributing to help us keep doing what we do. So up to you if you'd like the extra content. There's nothing there yet because we haven't had the opportunity. We only just did it today. We will get stuff happening over there as soon as we possibly can. All right, now I did just find it, but I was worried I made all of our stuff disappear. So Derren Brown, I don't know if you've seen Derren Brown, who is a mentalist and likes to show how cold reading works. Now, we're going to talk about psychic medium readings, and then I'm going to give you some examples of how Derren Brown can work these. If you've seen his shows, they are simply amazing. So psychic medium reading. So imagine you're at a public ghost tour and a medium is reading the audience. She says, I'm getting a sense of strong presence connected to someone here. The spirit was an older figure who wants you to know that they've been watching you. They understand the challenges that you've been facing recently and are sending you strength. Now, if you've got 30 people there, that's probably going to relate to someone. Many people in the room are going, oh, yes, yes. Some people may start to cry, they may feel it. And each person thinks that is a message about their deceased grandfather or mother or friend or father or sibling, whoever. In reality, the statement was very cleverly crafted to be universal. It could fit many. Most people, and particularly as we get older, we've lost an older relative or a friend. And everyone faces challenges throughout their life. So the vagueness allows each person that relates to it to fill in the specifics and make it fit. So they feel like they're getting a personal or a supernatural message. That's very much classic Barnum statement. Now, Renata has actually done this, but she has done it very specifically where she said, I can see them wearing a cap. They've got, they're big followers of the football team, and and she was very specific about it, and nobody there actually related to it at the time. It was the next day that somebody rang up and said, we just found out our nephew passed away in a car accident last night, and that was him. That's different.
It doesn't happen as many times as I would like it to.
On tap.
And that's a difficulty that I would never call myself a psychic medium because I can't bring it on to happen. I feel weird because messages will either pop in or they won't. Now, the one thing that I want to add here is that
Yes.
there's a
Yes, Sarah.
slight caveat here because, for example, I have at times done a generalized reading for the week, right? So pick a card, 1, 2, or 3, yeah? And you pick a card and you get a message. And the message is very, very Barnumish. It is very, very broad. And that is because you might have 30 or 40 people looking at that and they need to get something out of it for themselves. And so they will interpret it in a way that has meaning for them, hopefully. You can't make that specific because it will only be specific to probably one person in that 30 or 40. So when you are choosing one of those cards, a card of the week or a card of the day or whatever, know that it is probably going to be very, very broad. Um, and it is up to you really to go, oh, that I can interpret that for myself and I can get a special meaning out of it. That's very, very different than trying to do a reading or a medium sitting with you and, you know, really making it quite detailed for you.
I'm just trying to get onto the live so that I can pop this link in. May not be able to. Having a few issues. So hopefully our picture and our sound has improved. All right, so another example in paranormal investigation of how this effect can happen. And this is a big one, the spirit box. So we like to use the AEST method where we'll have a couple of people listening on headphones to the chatter of a spirit box and they're calling out the word, say, here. But in some investigations, you'll be sitting around in a group and you'll be asking questions and you're listening to the raw. When that happens, I find that people are listening for specific answers. Confirmation bias, right? They want, if they ask the question and they know the place is haunted, already there's a problem. They're wanting to hear that Jon Snow is going to haunt this
Said
place.
it right. Jon Snow.
Jon Snow, you know nothing. And they will be listening for anything that sounds like it. And I watch this on so many of the YouTube channels where they'll go, "Oh, did you hear that? That was such and such. That was the name." And because I try to close my eyes so I don't look at the words, and I'm going, "I didn't hear that. I didn't hear anything that sounded like that." But they want it to be right so much that that is what their brain interprets it as, because the brain wants to please you. It likes to please you. But we're still, if we are using the estes and we're asking questions so people can't be influenced what to answer when they're calling out the words, we might say, Mabel, are you there? Mabel? We get giraffe. Mabel, did you like giraffes? I didn't know you liked giraffes, Mabel. What was your most favourite giraffe? Square. Oh, was the giraffe kept in a square cage, was it? And so they're trying to take the words and interpret. They're just random words that are coming out. They're creating a story because they want to believe it's special for them. They've got this connection. It's happening. Oh my God, we've got the spirit with us, Renata. They're answering our questions directly. No, they're not. You're taking words and making a story out of it. So this is why it's very important when you're doing spirit box investigations that you lead the conversation and don't take every word that comes out as being the answer to your question. You know you've got a good connection when you are getting very specific answers to very specific questions. Anyway, group seance. The group seance is always good when you've got a big group of people. And somebody did mention there, I think it was Sarah actually, she went to the John Edwards area. I went to a John Edwards show and people were practically fighting each other, saying it was them. Because he'll just say, I'm getting something from someone over here, these 300 people over here. There is somebody with a male that's in spirit. with the letter S. I've got the letter S, male and spirit. Stand up, and like 50 people will stand up. And then it's a process of elimination. And I can tell you, every single one of those 50 people desperately need a message from their loved ones because they have something that they need to resolve or a hurt.
Plus, they've come to
Yeah.
see John Edwards, and John Edwards is the bee's knees. So you want to get a message from your loved one coming through John Edwards. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, it's,
Australian cryptozoology tribe. Welcome, welcome. When the words are random, it's completely different to when the words are relevant. Hell yeah.
and don't forget, in all of this as well, you have the interpretation of the person that's listening. That sometimes, as mentioned, Yindi mentioned that there will be, if there are a few people on, they will say the same thing. They're hearing the same thing. But in some cases, if there are 3 or 4 people listening in, they will all say something different because their brain is interpreting that noise differently. It can be confusing at times, and it may not be. It may be very, very relevant to have a few people on headphones and seeing if they're getting the same thing. Yep. Yeah, it's all we are doing really with all of this is, again, storytelling
I love that.
and trying to interpret what's coming out.
And by rights, when you are doing the Estes method, if you are listening to radio chatter, you should all be calling out the same word at the same time. I actually find it more interesting when you get a word that is completely different and does not sound like any of the other words. Oh, there's Max. He's come in to say hello. Because to me, sometimes that means they've actually got a mind-to-mind connection rather than the radio chatter. And I find telepathy far more interesting because it's generally those ones that we start to get the direct answers from, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can really tell when that happens because they kind of, the whole space around them zooms in and they're like in a different space than everybody else. Their whole demeanor changes and they really sort of just get sucked into whatever's going on. And yeah, it sort of just starts to come out naturally, like they're channeling.
And this is true. As Sarah's saying, some people can't pick out the words from the white noise. It's too overwhelming. There's too much input, and their mind goes blank. It actually does take a bit of practice, and sometimes your brain just won't be able to do it. It's just not a skill your brain will have. But there are people that will hear words coming through that are not coming through, if you know what I mean. It's actually going straight into their mind. All right, what else should we go on to here? Oh, that's right. I was going to give you the examples from, and this is from Sarah's blog that I'm going to give you here about Darren Brown. So this is a Barnum statement. You're probably somebody who tends to keep people a little bit at bay or at arm's length. But when you allow people into your inner sanctum and when they become your close friends, and if they betray you, that really hurts. What does that actually mean? There's so much. That's like almost a D Trump sort of say that's happening
That'll
on.
fit anyone.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it doesn't actually mean anything. There's a lot of stuff in that one statement. And as Sarah said, it could apply to almost anyone.
Mm.
Right, this one. You're a person who is prone to bouts of self-examination and have a tendency to be critical of yourself. Who doesn't? You
Yeah.
should. You should be self-critical of everything that comes out of your mouth. There are times when you are the life and soul of the party and an extrovert, but at other times you tend to be introverted and quite reversed,
Reserved.
reserved.
Oh, well, that wouldn't fit me, so I'd have to go no.
No, when you need to put your mask on to do it, you will do it. If you are in a position that we are with a group of people who've come a long way to say hello and meet us, you will step up.
I'll go. Oh, I need to go to the toilet now. I'm
She
sorry.
can't make a cup of coffee. I mean, if I'm in a room full of strangers that I don't know, and I'm not Anne and Renata, I will be the quietest person in the room. I don't even want to open my mouth. And of course, my husband always goes, "Do you know what my wife does for a living? She's a ghost hunter." And people go, "Really? Let me tell you my story about a ghost." Every bastard's got one, I tell you. You strive for security in your life, both in your personal life and your career.
Well, of course
Yes.
you would.
Yes, my God. And Sarah got this from the mentalismcourse.com. I was going to say a different word there. The Barnum Effect, Barnum Statement Examples. And I will put Sarah's article up for you all to read as well. I think probably, let me just go back over to the live feed at the moment because we're sort of jumping in and out. I am very different in the real world compared to at a paranormal event and investigation. Exactly. Um, I, that's why you kept going to the loo when I went. No masks for me. I do not comply. Oh, you're lucky. You are so lucky. My brain just doesn't want to uh, function. It just doesn't want to function. So are you all sort of following along what the Barnum Effect is at the moment?
I think everyone should know what the
Everyone got any questions?
The Barnum Effect is by this stage. What do you do about it is the next thing, which we will talk about. But do you have any questions at this point in time?
Or thoughts? Do you think it's just all hogwash? Do you think it doesn't exist? That every single thing that is a special meaning to you is a special meaning? Uh, got Karen.
Now, we actually talked about this when we were on the radio on Tuesday night, which was pre-recorded,
Oh,
but
yes.
we did talk about this in a bit of a way because we were talking about curses. And again, people believing that they are cursed. So same thing, and someone mentioned about negative things here. Absolutely. When something negative is being said towards you or towards someone, or that you have the belief that someone has cursed you, that can be very specific when it comes to sort of feeling that that might be something very, very personal to you. When again, it's the Barnum effect. So you just need one person to say, maybe you've been cursed. And then you go, oh my God, yes, I remember. I remember when I, passed Jane's house and she stared at me with glaring eyes when I said hello to her or whatever. And you kind of think, well, that's curse. It's a personal thing. And the problem with all of this is that you can't throw just logic at it because someone has already made up their mind that they are going to think that way. And no matter what you say, it's not going to make any change. So there's a difficulty in trying to work through this because you have that bias, that really distinct bias set in place where you're already believing the statement, whether it's a good statement, yes, you're special, you're gifted, all of this sort of stuff, or a bad statement. Someone has cursed you and you believe it.
So Australian Cryptozoology Tribe, we're talking about the Barnum effect. There's all different sorts of effects within the cognitive process of the brain, which can influence your outcome as to what's happening in investigation. And this particular one is where I like to call it special effect, but it's not meant in a nasty way. It's where you are hearing messages or you're interpreting sounds, noises, anything that's happening around you as a message for you or an experience for you. And we find newbies do this a lot as well because they're so keen to have some sort of experience that if the light flickers a little bit, go, "Oh my God, Grandma's here. That's for me, that message." Um,
But it is called after P.T. Barnum.
It
Yes,
is.
Barnum and Bailey.
And as Sarah said, P.T. Barnum is also not the person made out by Hugh Jackman. He was a little bit of a his showman who knew how to work his audience and would manipulate them to get what he wanted. So yeah.
He was a businessman.
He was a businessman. That's right. I've just got some starred over here. Has Roman been to Bath? I will tell him about that. We were trying to work out what the ones were in Newcastle. Oh, okay. Yeah, Dave, I'll get to yours in a second. Light flickers, get the salt. People say I'm my worst critic. Is that a Barnum effect?
That's more self-sabotage.
And hopefully critical thinking.
Well,
You don't want to.
yeah, it's only something if you start to believe in it. So you can call it whatever you like, but it only really has meaning if you start to believe what they are saying. So people say, I'm my worst critic. Well, why are they saying that? Do they have anything that they have heard from you that is evidential?
Are you always
And
pulling yourself down,
yeah,
going, oh, well, I'm hopeless at doing this. I can't do that. I should never do this. Oh, look at that. It's crap, the work I
yeah.
did. That's
Yeah,
self-sabotage.
so again, the Barnum effect is the belief that someone has said to you that becomes very, very personal, no matter how vague that might be. You take ownership of it. And that can happen in a crowd as well. So, you might go to religious meetings, let's say, and all of a sudden
Be
you will
careful.
hear something and you will believe that it is happening to you personally. Crowds are great for the Barnum effect because that can ripple through a crowd and each person sets the next person off.
Right.
What do we got?
Would the Barnum effect contaminate your debunking methods?
Yes, absolutely. Because do you debunk if you believe?
If you believe you have made contact with exactly who you were hoping to make contact with, would you debunk? Or would you be extremely happy that you've proven exactly what you'd set out to prove? And there's apps that I'm not going to name names because I actually like these people a lot, where they will have apps and words will come up and the whole investigation then centers around these words meaning something important. So it's like Barnum. They're business people. They're providing the entertainment that people hope to want and see. What can you do? This is probably why Renata and I will never be YouTube famous, because we don't want to do that. We don't. So I keep saying to Renata, maybe we should just give up on the investigations and just do haunted travel vlogs, because confirmation bias, exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, people, and we talked about this earlier on, people come to watch these things because they're expecting something. They're expecting to be entertained. People love spirit box sessions and things like that. So you sort of go, well, am I going to trash your beliefs? Or am I just going to go along with it because that's what you want to see? Depends on, whether you need followers and, whether you want that YouTube channel to be a living, breathing beast or whether it's going to be empty.
Ah, now I did send you a link to that thing that I was trying to get to. I wonder if I can get to it there. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I am really trying to get these links up and across. Sarah said my Ovilus is not half as active as Zach's. I think the one I have is broken. uh, yeah.
Yeah.
How frustrating it is not being able to access my YouTube, my, what do you call it? Facebook, when all my business is on there. Right, hang on. Hopefully I've got that here. No, I didn't send it that way. Damn it.
That's all right. We've got just a few minutes
Yeah,
left.
no. Bloody annoying. Anyway, I'll pop it up later. So we are on to what do we do about this? What can we possibly do to keep this out of the work that we do when we go ghost hunting, paranormal investigating to famous haunted locations where everybody else has got the evidence but you?
The ghost is in the shed. Go to the shed. You sit in the shed and you get nothing. Well, you're a shit investigator because everyone says the ghost is in the shed.
All right, so you have to try to go in without any belief of anything. You can go in with excitement and anticipation, but if you hear a noise, go and work out what that noise is. Don't assume that it is a ghost, or set some sort of parameter where you go, okay, if this is the spirit that I just heard tapping, can you please tap 3 times quite clearly so I know that it is you communicating with me? And then we also, remember I did that at the accommodation? I said, can you do that twice loudly? We got one really loud one. We've gone, oh, was that no then? See, we tried to make it special. Uh, and you've got to work out at some stage or other, if you get those 3 loud knocks, do you then go,
Can you do it
can
again?
can you do it this time, but can you do 5? 5 this time.
The ghost is going to go, oh shit,
Bugger
can't be
off. So
Jesus Christ.
I like to say at that stage, if I got those 3 knocks, I would say, thank you so much. We are not asking you to perform like a monkey or anything like that. We are grateful for whatever you can show us. Um, can we work with you somehow or other? And then maybe instead of saying to do the same thing again, think of something else that you could do. Or if you're using a spirit box, or an obelisk, say, could you give me a word with something to do with the way you died or your occupation? And then wait to see if you do get something that validates the question. If you get something that is completely off track, don't change your line of questioning to go off the path, because you are trying to get an intelligent conversation happening with whoever it is you are hopefully interacting with. Uh, and always be grateful for whatever comes through. Even if you're not sure, I always like to say thank you, because we just don't know how much energy it takes to communicate from the other side, or if there's pain involved. I've actually had a couple of times come across now that it hurts, it causes pain to communicate. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. Maybe I'm just special. What have you got to add, Renata, that could help people?
I think actually making notes and writing down any evidence that you feel is evident in a notebook so that you can refer back to it, especially if you get names or if you get some information that might be able to be validated later. Again, this is just critical thinking stuff. You can write down, yes, I did hear 2 knocks at 8:30 p.m. On the left wall, whatever it might be. It all adds up to the information that you gather. And then you can sort of sit down later and sort of work out what you think might be something that's important or not.
And if you've got a timestamp on it, then it would be interesting to see if that happened every time at the same night, because then it might be something mechanical within the house or the location, like the hot water system turning itself on and off
Yep.
at peak or off peak or something like that. It always helps to do a timestamp. Also, the weather conditions outside, because if it's particularly cold, things shrink, and you might get cracks and pops that you wouldn't normally hear.
Our best validation to date, people, is still voice recorders, cameras, and photos. Photos are probably the worst out of those 3 in that they can be manipulated a lot nowadays, but they're still enough to be able to discern whether it is something paranormal or not, in most cases. But cameras, recorders, video recorders are super, super things to take with you and leave them running, or, spend time just doing recordings of places and seeing what you come up with.
And also training yourself to be loud and proud of marking something that happens at the time. Because I can guarantee when you get back to listening to those recordings, which can be weeks or months, if ever sometimes, you will forget the noises that happened at the time. So people, when we're doing public investigations, I'll say, did somebody just whisper? And they go, oh yeah, that was me. Like that, they feel really bad. Sorry. I'm going, no, don't apologize. I'm saying it out loud so that we can acknowledge that we heard it, and that if anyone's recording, they'll know that wasn't an EVP. So I generally, if we're recording, I will get up and say, it's Anne getting up, walking around, sitting down, I'm now still.
It's usually me walking around.
Yeah, and I'll say, Renata's walking around in the background. Actually, she did it not long ago to us at the Tocal, where we're going, oh my God, we've recorded footsteps. There's somebody walking. It was friggin' Renata, who was out taking photos.
So
I have to tell her to sit on her butt and don't fiddle.
Terrible, terrible. And this is the thing too, that you will note within your group or your team who has certain particular or peculiar things that they do. Because I do that every time it's silence or everyone stands still, I will take a few steps. It's just, it's like.
And when there's EVPs and we're being really quiet, you'll hear, it's me.
It's so you've got to be careful of those horrible people that do that.
Yeah. And your phone receiving an SMS.
Yes.
I always go, message from the ghosts.
Yeah, that'll be me too.
And actually, that even coming down to that, thank you, Indy, is that you should actually turn your mobile phones completely off and your smartwatches, because even on aeroplane mode, they are still going to emit a field, and you'll get false readings from them.
Yeah.
But when we're doing public investigations, we will say to people, it could be this, in the hope that they will think outside the box. But Lisa the bell. But we also don't want to crush their joy of being there.
Yes.
Because quite often we can put a name to everything that is going on. Sometimes we can't, but we want them to get that bite of the curiosity bug and hopefully learn more. And that's how we all started. We all started totally believing absolutely everything was ghosts until we
learnt more.
And that's what we're trying to do here, is just educate a little bit more. But really, that's if anyone's got anything else they would like to add. We have skipped over some of our notes here, but I will pop up the information onto the YouTube subscribers. And for those who would like to support us, please feel free. You can buy us a cup of coffee, whatever you'd like to do, but just sharing this feed and making sure you subscribe, because I can tell you now that many of you who are watching think you've subscribed and you haven't, because sometimes YouTube unsubscribes. So please go back in and make sure you have subscribed. Hope you've enjoyed the information. Thank you for the topic, Renata. That was your idea.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be
back. The spirits told me. I downloaded that information earlier on because I'm special.
Oh, yeah, Sarah's one of us. Living life in the full spectrum. I'll pop Sarah's article up into the notes below as well. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, we hope you like this stuff.
We enjoy it.
And come back every Thursday because we'll have more stuff for you.
We are heading off to Ireland for our haunted holidays in 3 weeks and 6 days, but who's counting? And we will make sure we've got something up there for you to watch every Thursday night if we can't go live somewhere.
We'll be live every day.
Yeah, will we?
Yeah, we will.
I'm going to be looking after our people. I'm going to be worrying about lives. Anyway, that's it from us. Thank you all so much.
Love ya.
I love you all too. Bye. See you on the dark side.
Stay spooky.
Don't be a dickhead. Bye.